every single card in this deck is different. I'm going to use the top 2 cards, the 2 red aces, to help us with this trick. But first, we need to get a card selected. So, imagine you stop me somewhere around here. Memorize this card, don't forget it, and you can even sign it too. But what we'll do is we'll bury that card deep down into the center of the deck, somewhere near the halfway mark. Like I said, we're going to use the 2 red aces in a really unique way to find your card. It's going to look like this. I'll place them on top and leave a pretty major gap between them, a good space. And now I'm going to try and use static on these 2 cards to attract your card from the center of the deck all the way to the very top. But it's going to happen in super slow motion. Watch. Don't take your eyes off anything, because all I need to do is statically charge those aces. And if you look, you should see something begin to slowly happen. Just like that. It looks like one card is materializing all the way up between those 2 aces. Just like that, look. And immediately, everything can be handed out and kept. It's the Ace of Hearts, the sign selection, and the Ace of Diamonds. Let's go learn the secret. Yo, it's been a while YouTube, Lloyd Barnes here. Today I'm sharing with you one of the oldest tricks I've ever created. In fact, this trick is 21 years old. It's called the slow-mo sandwich. I have some new updates, some new handlings. I released this when I was 16 and then re-released this with a magic company, and now I'm bringing you the 2025 edition. It's super easy to do, it looks super visual. There is a gimmick, but I guarantee you every one of you in the world watching this video right now can make this gimmick in less than 5 seconds. That's a challenge, let's dive into it. Okay, so you're gonna make yourself a very complex gimmick. This is the gimmick. Okay, take any card and cut off a corner that has no digit in there. Take that card, place it face down on top with the missing corner towards you, and then take 2 sandwich cards and place them on top. So at this point I show the 2 red aces, and I just make sure not to flash or let this pop up, right? So what I tend to do is turn over 1 card and then pass the other card underneath it. And I got a nice display here, making sure to hide this edge. Now I need a card selected, and I need that card to be controlled above this gimmick, but beneath these. So I use a version of the Cardini change just to have the card pop up. There's also work by Oliver Macchia on his WoW control. There's also a Pew's Pass you can use. You can use a Marlowe tilt beneath these 2 cards. So if you know what the tilt is, then you can do a tilt move. You could use Troy Husier's Slipstream control. By Troy Husier, you could do it to the 2nd or 3rd position even in the deck, where a card would be selected. And then as you show in display, you can say it's lost somewhere in the middle, and secretly it's being controlled 3rd from top. You can do anything you want to get that selection 3rd down. Okay, so in this case, let's just use the Jack of Diamonds, and let's say we're gonna do a Marlowe tilt to get it 3rd from top, okay? So card gets lost in the deck, but the reality is this. And now the next part is incredibly simple. I'm gonna get a break underneath the top 4 cards. And the best way of doing this, I find, is to get a break beneath 3, and then that extra corner, so the corner here, the little missing corner, you'll be able to see it, but it tends to come along for the ride. Meaning I can just reach in the middle with my thumb and pick all 4 up as a block. Okay, so now I have all 4 cards as a block. I'm going to peel off the Ace of Hearts, and I'm going to make sure it's back jogged. Okay, so I peel off the Ace of Hearts, I'm making sure that it's back jogged about 1/3 of its length, and then I place all 3 out jogged. Okay, so this is kind of the position of the deck. And now what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze the cards to make an arch here, because if you don't do that, what I need to do is I need to get a purchase on each of these cards individually. So I need to get a purchase with my index finger on this card and then this card. But when they're flat, you can't do that. But if you bend the cards, you'll see those layers start to separate. Okay, so I bend the cards, but I don't do it like this. I point it at their eyes, and this does 2 things. Firstly, it gives them more of a good area to view here, okay? Because if you do it like this, they kind of can't see. but you're going to show it right to their eyesight. But it also then camouflages this, okay? So when I go from here, you can't really tell what's happening. So this is what's going to happen. From an exposed view, I'll move this card out of the way. I'll just place it into my pocket for now. I have these two cards. This is the selection. This is the gimmick. The first thing I do is I get the bottommost card, which is the gimmick. And as I come over, as I bring my two fingers over, I slide back to here. All right? But that's covered completely with this ace. So I'm here. As I bring my hands over, I get my index ready. Just as I hit the point, I load that card into place. All right, super, super easy. And we're halfway there. So I come over, and now I just really make it feel like I'm creating this as a magic effect. I try and like believe that I'm doing it. I try and instill through my hands, through my motions. I actually want to try and like fool and convince myself that I'm doing this. So I come over and I act like I'm really making this card slowly appear. And I start off with two fingers. I curl these two fingers in to give the maximum viewing area, and I go at an angle, okay? If I'm like this, it's not a very good trick, okay? It doesn't look very good. There's kind of no point in the gimmick. If I do this, or I open my fingers like a Vulcan, it gives a nice big viewing area, like that, right? And then, as I get right to the edge of this line, I want to separate it off into one finger, and it makes it look like that card is growing. Makes it look like it's getting further and further over. The reality is nothing's happening. I'm just going from here to here. But these motions make it look like it's growing bigger visually. All right. As I get to here, I want to get my get ready again underneath this card. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to place my two fingers to cover that for a moment. And the second those two fingers cover, I'm going to kick the top layer back. And I'm going to come back around as if nothing's happened. I continue to display the card there. Now here's the really nice part. Here's the cleanup, which is so easy to do. I'm going to take the first ace. I'm going to move it to the side. If you see, look, there's the gimmick, right? If I push this forward slightly, I'm just going to move this ace to the side. I'll feel a click as it disengages. And now I can lift all three cards up and immediately hand them out to be completely examined. I just drop this deck on my side. Of course, nobody thinks the secret is here because they've just watched this card materialize in slow motion. Okay, so at speed, let me show you everything like this from this point on. I slide off the ace. I place the other ace in the right position. I get ready. I begin to make the card slowly materialize. I really want to believe that as it's happening. I now start to show as much as I can. I then come over one last time. I do this. I take that ace. I disengage the gimmick, and I can immediately hand everything out to be kept. All these three cards can be kept. I can even just, as I'm standing forward, I can literally just ditch that gimmick into my back pocket as all the attention is on these cards. And now they can be left completely clean, everything examinable, and you've got yourself a visual piece of magic that could not be replicated the same way without a gimmicked card. Yo, look at this hair. Do I cut it short or I grow it out longer? You can be the judges. You can answer down below. That was the old original handling. That has some new touches, new nuances added to it. But now let me show you two cool new things. One is like a vanish and a teleportation, and the other is a really ultra visual color change. I'll be honest with you, I don't do these as much as I do the original routine, so I might be a little bit rusty with them, but they're pretty fun to practice. So let's just dive in, let's watch them, let's learn them. So we need a card selected. Let's say you stop me on this card, which is the 7 of hearts, all right? We're going to use the 7 and a random card, so the 7 and the king, right? And what's going to happen is this. The king is going to be placed above the 7, and this is going to be its teleportation device. I'm going to build up some static from my hand and try and pass it through these cards. Watch that 7, watch that king, watch my hand, because all I have to do is begin to statically charge that 7. You'll see it begins to slowly materialize and dematerialize until eventually it completely vanishes. Look, it's gone. But you see, when I was creating static, it was building up an attraction. And that attraction makes the 7 teleport all the way to my pocket. This is the method. You need a duplicate card and place this anywhere that you want. So I'm going to place, in this case, the 7 into my pocket. And then my setup is as follows: Gimmick, random card, and my duplicate card. And I'm going to turn those face down on top. Okay, so I've got my 7 of hearts, 2 X cards, and my Gimmick. I'm going to slip cut those cards to the center, riffle force to them, cut them to the top, and display that 7. Alright. Now I'll say we use the 7 and a random top card. I'm just going to flash this one card here. In this case, it's the King. I'm now going to get a pinky break, and that little third card, right, is going to come along to the right. So pinky break beneath 2. It's going to allow me to pick up a block of actually 3 cards. Okay, so it's those 3 cards. You can just lift up at the back if you want to as well. So I got the 7, and then I pick up this block of 3. I say I'm going to place the 7 beneath the King. And now I have my 3 cards set up here. And essentially it's the same thing as before. I'm going to build up some static charge. I'm going to push back my Gimmick layer first. Okay, like that, and display that it's starting to vanish. It looks like it starts to come back and then vanish again. I'm going to cover momentarily, make the entire thing disappear, show that it's just the King left, which is like a little nice convincer. I can then fan the cards and say it's gone, but really it's actually 4th down from the top, so I just don't fan that far. But before they start to want to look for it in the deck, I now draw all their attention to wherever it's teleported. And you can place this anywhere. You can place it in somebody's handbag, under a chair, under a carpet, in somebody's letterbox, whatever you want to do. When you finally reveal where it's gone, it stops them wanting to look over here. And that's the teleportation card to pocket vanish effect. So let's go ahead and say stop, maybe around here. Any guesses as to what this card could be? They'll get it right once every 52 times, but in this case it's the 10 of clubs. Memorize this card as we bury it back into the center of the deck near the halfway point, but it doesn't matter where. So look, we give the cards a mix, a couple of cuts, and we brought one card to the top. Hopefully it's the 10. Okay, it wasn't the 10 of clubs, but we give it a good try. Here's what we'll do. We'll take that 9 and we'll place it beneath the top card of the deck, which is the Queen of clubs. So keep your eye on the 9 and that Queen. We try and do something special. Remember, your card was the 10 of clubs. Don't look away. All I need to do is just wave my hand over that 9, and you'll see it slowly begins to become the chosen 10. Just like that, look. Just like that. Now, that 9 of hearts has become your chosen card. And you can hand this card out immediately to be kept. So what's happening here is a bit of an awkward one, but it's easy enough to do. I take my Gimmick and the matching card to it, and I place the full matching card, the Gimmick on top, and then an X card above that. Okay, so there's 3 cards. I'm now going to do a riffle force, a swing cut and riffle force to these 3 cards, and I'm going to get a pinky break underneath 2, which is automatically going to pick up 3 cards, okay, because that missing corner is not there. I turn these over. I show this is their selection. I turn them back over, and then I'm going to do a double undercut to control everything back to the top. I now push over 1 card, and I risk kill here, not to flash the Gimmick. And I show this is not the card, this is the 9 of hearts. I now get a break underneath 1 card, and it'll automatically bring the Gimmick with it. And I place the 9 down, and I say this is not the card, but we'll use this card to help me. And I just turn over the card beneath these 3, okay? So I have 3 here. I turn this card over. I place the 3 cards on top, and I flip everything down. So this is my new position. Okay, Queen, Force card, Gimmick, and X card. I'm now gonna push these 3 cards forward as 1 to reveal that 9, and this time I'm going to execute the same visual change. I'm going to push this card back using my plunger finger. I show half that card's beginning to change. I now do it again as I come to the side, change the full card, and now I can just pull back on just this singular card, okay, hiding these 2, and immediately hand it out. And then later on, whenever I'm ready, I can come over and do like a Marlowe undercover slip to place these back face down and get rid of my dirty card. And that's it. Alright guys, it's been a while, I've missed you all. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, shall I grow my hair? And if you want to learn my A-grade material, the shit that's too good to put on YouTube, then head over to patreon.com/LloydB, where you'll get over 52 of my top class, biggest, most fooling magic secrets. See you in the next one. Peace.